As a part of the MCU that everybody's very excited about is post-Secret Wars and the new mutant era, the mutant saga. Some people have already started coining the phrase. Now, we've been talking about some whispers going around. Is Sadie Sink playing Jean Grey? Obviously she is, but who knows? We might be surprised. We also talked a little bit the other day about Adam Driver maybe being Magneto. Now there's rumors maybe he's going to be, remember we said this on the show, I said, okay, him being Magneto, but man, I could really totally see him as a Nathaniel Essex. I could totally see him as a Mr. Sinister. Well, now there's rumors going around that maybe he's Mr. Sinister. But if we have our Magneto or don't, that still leaves open the idea of who is going to play Charles himself, Professor X. And the reports and the rumors going around are Bill Skarsgård and Patrick Wilson. Now, before we dive into this, I have to let you know that we are firmly planting this one under the file of rumor mill. This is absolutely a rumor mill topic we're talking about. This is not confirmed by anybody or anyone, but it's interesting and we're going to discuss it here. Now, when we discuss rumor mill stuff, we always ask the same two questions. The first is, do we find this rumor believable? And then the second question is, assuming it's true for the sake of discussion, how would we feel about it? Well, in this particular instance of the rumor mill, there are two names that they say are being bandied about to play Professor Charles Xavier. One is Bill Skarsgård, of course, from the It movies, Northman. He was really good in John Wick Chapter 4. I wasn't a big fan of Nosferatu, but man, he rocked in it. And of course, Patrick Wilson, who's just in just about everything and can do anything. I even liked him as Aquaman's brother. I know some people didn't. I did. So take that. One thing to keep in mind about both of these guys, though, is that there's a bit of an age difference between them. I believe that Skarsgård is 35 years old, whereas Patrick Wilson is 53. Mm-hmm. So there's nearly a 20-year difference between the two. Now, as far as who would I prefer to see, in straight up acting ability, to me, it's a coin toss. I love watching both of these guys. I think they're both great. I think both of them would be perfectly wonderful Charles Xaviers. I mean, if James McAvoy can do it, why not Skarsgård? Why not Wilson? I will lean, though, towards Wilson. And the reason for that is this. I think Skarsgård is just a bit too young. I think he's just a bit too young. Now, I understand we're doing X-Men on a younger scale right now, but we were talking about Adam Driver the other day. Adam Driver, if he was going to be Magneto, he's 42, 43 years old. And I think that's the floor. I think that's as young as you can go. I think that's just in the acceptable range if you're going to get a bunch of X-Men characters that are supposed to be in their early to mid 20s. So I think that's fine. And I think Wilson would just be more age appropriate for it. But, it depends, guys. I mean, for all we know, they want Magneto and Charles to both be in their early 30s. I mean, I don't know, but I would probably lean towards Patrick. So answering the first question, do I think this is believable? I'm not buying it. To be honest, I'm not buying it for either of them. But the second question, if we assume that it is true, how would I feel about either of these guys? Listen, if I woke up to a Variety article tomorrow saying Patrick Wilson or Bill Skarsgård got the role, I'd be perfectly satisfied. They're both terrific actors. I think they would both do the role justice, but I would personally lean more towards Patrick Wilson, if for no other reason I think he's a little bit more age appropriate. Anyway, Ron, I'm going to throw the two questions over to you that we always ask in the rumor mill. Number one, how would you rate the believability of these rumors going around? And then secondly, putting that aside, just assume it's true for a moment. How would you feel about either of these names?
Well, believability, these are some of the more believable X-Men. We did a live stream yesterday or Tuesday on Screen Crush where we talked about like how ridiculous some of these suggestions are that are out there where they're like clearly AI generated. I think this one has some sauce behind it. Patrick Wilson's been mentioned for a while. Bill Skarsgård, I also heard that they could be Xavier or Magneto, but I doubt if Magneto's even in this first movie. I give it about 60%. I think, yeah, these are names that are actually getting floated out and rumored, or at least they want them around. As for who I would prefer, Skarsgård, I think, can do anything. I think he's been pigeonholed as a villain. And I think once you shave his head, he can play a lot older than his 30 odd years. So I do think the age thing isn't as much of a problem for me. I do think Patrick Wilson has this kind of dad energy that maybe they're going to want Xavier to bring to the X-Men. You know what I mean? Like if they're young kids, they're going to want someone to step in who can be like that father figure, which also sets him up to do some really bad, shady things that Xavier does in the comics later on.
Yeah, well, if you want to go Krakoan on that, yes, he could do some really nasty things. Now, this brings up a question, though. Somebody, I didn't even think about this, and somebody in the live chat about a half hour before the show started threw this out there and said, given it that it's 2026, does Charles still need to be bald? You just kind of brought that up, Ryan. Like that is obviously one of our visual perceptions when we think of Charles Xavier bald. But it's not like he gets his powers from a shiny scalp. And when we had James McAvoy, that everybody,
he's not the inverse Samson.
Yes, exactly. Totally, the completely polar opposite of Samson. And you know, when we look back at McAvoy, like we all kind of fell in love with him as a younger Charles, with a full head of bushy hair. I mean, so do you think? I think it's likely we're going to have a shaved head Charles Xavier, but I think there's a chance they don't. And I don't know that I'd actually be mad if they didn't. What do you think? Should they go with the bald Charles, or do you think they can break away from the bald? What do you think?
I'd be furious if he wasn't bald. In fact, as a balding man myself, I take issue with casting a non-follically impaired actor to play this role. I think if you're going to cast bald, you go bald. And that's why way back in the pages of Wizard magazine in the late 90s, the fans insisted that Charles Xavier be played by Patrick Stewart. But no, I think he goes shaved head. For one thing, I don't think Bill Skarsgård can play him if he's not bald, but that could just be me there.
You know what they could, I could totally see them doing? They could probably completely do it kind of the same pattern they did it with the young X-Men stuff with James McAvoy, where maybe the first movie he has hair, and like at the end of the film, he comes out of the bathroom and he's shaved head, or comes out of the operating room, or comes out of the vortex or whatever it is. And like the first movie ends with him being bald. I could see them maybe doing something like that. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about these rumors going around about Bill Skarsgård or Patrick Wilson? Remember, this is under the rumor mill, being a potential Professor Charles Xavier. Do you like either one of them? Do you prefer one over the other? Do you think neither are a really good fit? Whatever you guys think, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Guys, we want to take a second and thank a sponsor of today's video, BetterHelp. Look, guys, we talk about mental health a lot around here, and a lot more openly these days, but actually raising your hand and asking for help, it can still feel incredibly hard. I mean, we wouldn't hesitate to tell a friend it's good to talk to somebody, but society still makes us think twice when it's our turn. BetterHelp is working to bridge that gap. They are the world's largest online therapy platform, having served over 6 million people globally with a network of over 30,000 fully licensed, high-quality therapists who work under a strict code of conduct. And the bottom line is that the data shows it works, holding an average rating of 4.9 out of 5 for a live session based on over 1.7 million client reviews. BetterHelp handles the initial matching work for you through a short questionnaire tailored to your needs and preferences. Plus, their industry-leading match fulfillment rate means they usually get it right the first time, but if you ever want to switch, you can do so at any time. Don't let stigma stand in the way of support. Start therapy with BetterHelp. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/Campea. That's betterhelp.com/Campea.